Hello, and welcome to the Leadership and Team Building training video. The purpose of this video is to provide Virginia school nutrition directors and supervisors with the resources and guidance necessary to facilitate the 60-minute hands-on training module that was introduced during the 2018 Summer Manager Workshops. My name is Ron Walters, and I will serve as your host, providing guidance and instruction as you navigate your team through the module. This module may be implemented alone or in conjunction with the other 4 videos in the 2018 Summer Manager Workshop series. For more information about the series, visit the Virginia Department of Education's Office of School Nutrition website. Now, if you're ready, let's get started with leadership and team building. Before your trainees arrive, let's review the resources and supplies you will need to conduct this module. We can start with the digital resources that are available for download on the Virginia Department of Education's Office of School Nutrition website in the same location as this video. If you have not already done so, please download the digital resources for leadership and team building. For your convenience, the complete list of resources is now being shown on your screen. The resources that are optional for printing include the Leadership and Team Building Video Instructor Guide and corresponding participant workbook. The resources you need to print include 1 set of guiding practices, 8 leadership quote signs, 10 personality cards, and 1 leadership style questionnaire for each participant. Now that you have the digital resources, it's time to prepare the learning area and gather the supplies. The supply list is currently shown on your screen and may also be found in the instructor guide. The list includes a classroom or other learning area with enough tables and chairs for all the participants, tape for posting the guiding practices, 1 whiteboard or easel with flip chart paper, markers for writing on the whiteboard or flip chart, 1 index card or piece of paper for each participant, and 1 pen or pencil for each participant. Once you gather all of your supplies, you can set up the learning area. First, post the ground rules on the whiteboard or wall so that they are visible to all participants. Second, prepare your whiteboard or flip chart. Lastly, hang the leadership quote signs in the learning area, making sure to spread them out around the room. At this point, you should be ready to conduct the lesson. It's now time to pause the video and welcome your participants as they arrive. When you're ready to begin the module, press play. Hello, and welcome to Leadership and Team Building. In this interactive training module, you will have the opportunity to explore leadership skills, identify your leadership style, and discover how leadership and team building impacts school nutrition programs. Before we begin, please ensure that you have a digital or hard copy of the Leadership and Team Building Participant Workbook. Also, let's take a moment to review some guiding practices. These serve to maintain an engaging yet respectful environment that is conducive to learning. Guiding practice number 1 reminds us to attack the problem, not the person. Instead of focusing on the problem, focus on identifying potential solutions. Guiding practice number 2 encourages us to remain present, both mentally and physically. We all have busy schedules and lives outside of this training, but during the next hour, please try to focus on the material so that you get the most out of your time here. Part of that focus means silencing your cell phones and refraining from text and email. If you must make or answer a call, please do so away from the learning area so that you do not disrupt your colleagues. Guiding practice number 3 says, listen with an open mind. Instead of mentally preparing your response before another person is finished speaking, take a moment to digest what is being said and remain open to ideas different from your own. Finally, guiding practice number 4 reminds us to avoid side conversations. It is easy to get excited about something and want to share that excitement with your neighbor. However, side conversations disrupt learning and in some cases include information that might be valuable to the entire group. Now that we have set our guiding practices, let's begin the lesson. In this module, we will discuss leadership and team building and how they impact your school nutrition programs. At the conclusion of the module, you should be able to meet the following objectives. 1, you should be able to assess your leadership style. 2, you should be able to understand how leadership and team building impact your staff members. And finally, you should be able to develop a plan to improve your leadership skills using the SOAR method. At this time, the instructor should prepare to pause the video for an activity and discussion. Once the video is paused, participants should get up and make their way slowly around the room, reading each of the 8 quotes posted on the wall. Once you have read each quote, go back and stand by the quote that most resonated with you and your idea of leadership. Take a few minutes to consider why the quote resonated with you and be ready to share your thoughts with the group. Once everyone is ready, the instructor will ask for volunteers to read the quotes aloud and then begin the group discussion. The instructor may now pause the video and facilitate the activity and discussion. When ready to proceed with the lesson, press play. Welcome back. As you can see, leadership involves components that resonate differently with each person. Now let's take a few minutes to think about specific leaders we admire. At this time, the instructor should prepare to pause the video for a discussion. Take a few minutes to think about the person you have personally encountered whose leadership inspired you. What was it about their leadership that made it so effective? The instructor can go ahead and pause the video, give participants a few minutes to consider the questions, and then facilitate the discussion. Hello again. From your discussion, you've seen that leaders from all walks of life have impacted us. Some of you may have identified a parent, teacher, coach, or manager whose leadership inspired you. Despite differing backgrounds or professions, the leaders that inspire tend to have similar characteristics. At this time, the instructor should prepare to pause the video for another discussion. Take a few minutes to consider the characteristics you feel make a great leader. What makes these characteristics important? The instructor may now pause the video, allow participants a few minutes to think about the questions, and then facilitate the discussion. Welcome back. From your discussion, you've seen that multiple characteristics play an important role in effective leadership. For instance, honesty and integrity help leaders earn respect. Observation develops insight into a team's needs. Discipline and accountability set standards and expectations so leaders can walk the walk. Positivity breeds encouragement, and flexibility conveys compassion. Now that we've discussed some important leadership characteristics, let's consider some of the challenges that may come along with being a leader. At this time, the instructor should prepare to pause the video for a discussion. Different leadership roles can introduce new challenges. At this time, take a moment to think about what you consider to be the greatest challenge as a leader if you are a manager, or for a leader if you're not currently in management. The instructor may now pause the video and facilitate the discussion. Hi, and welcome back. In your discussion, some of you may have found that the greatest leadership challenge involves managing people. The role of school nutrition managers and supervisors require oversight and coordination of multiple people with different personalities and attitudes. It's important that managers understand different personality types and characteristics and how those might influence the team and the manager's leadership style. At this time, the instructor should prepare to pause the video for an activity and discussion. First, we're going to review some personality traits or characteristics that can be more difficult to manage. As we review each characteristic, be thinking of someone you have worked with who exhibited that characteristic. Consider how the characteristic impacted your team as well as the leadership style used. First up is the gossiper. This is the person who spreads rumors, talks about you behind your back, and tells inappropriate stories. Next, we have the resistor. This is the person who doesn't like change and may purposely sabotage your operation out of spite when change does occur. Next up is the blamer. This person is never at fault and never takes responsibility for their actions. And how about the victim? The person who believes everyone is always out to get them. What about the pessimist? This is the person whose glass is always half empty. This person constantly doubts success and expects the worst case scenario. Next, we have the chooser. This person views the world as us versus them and want to pit one person against another. Here we have the detached personality type. This person has no interest in engaging with the team and thinks that they are better than everyone else. The self-absorbed personality wants to be in the limelight, constantly taking credit for things and seeking attention. Then we have the bomber. This person blows everything out of proportion and makes mountains out of molehills. And finally, there's the complainer. This is the person who is never satisfied and has a negative comment about everything. Often this person has poor work ethic. At this time, the instructor can pause the video and facilitate the discussion. The personality types and discussion questions have been listed for your convenience. When you are ready to proceed with the lesson, go ahead and press play. Hello again. From this discussion, you can see how different personalities can impact the team dynamic as well as the leadership style used. To effectively manage multiple and sometimes difficult personalities, you have to develop your leadership skills. To do this, you must be honest with yourself regarding your strengths and your areas of opportunity. To be an effective leader, you must know the type of leader you are. You must know your leadership style. Today, we will look at 3 well-documented leadership styles identified by social psychologist Kurt Lewin. These styles include authoritarian, democratic, and laissez-faire. To identify which style of leadership most applies to you, you will complete Lewin's Leadership Styles Questionnaire. At this time, the instructor should prepare to pause the video for an activity. In your participant workbook, you will find the Leadership Styles Questionnaire. Before you begin filling out the questionnaire, the instructor will read the instructions for completing, scoring, and interpreting the results. The instructor may now pause the video and allow participants 5 to 10 minutes to complete the questionnaire. Once everyone is finished, press play to continue. Welcome back. At this point, everyone should have completed the questionnaire and identified their primary leadership style. Now let's take a moment to discuss the characteristics of each style. Keep in mind that most of us use a combination of styles. First, we have the authoritarian style. Authoritarian leaders provide a clear expectation for what needs to be done, when it should be done, and how it should be done. There is a clear division between the leader and followers, and decisions are made with little or no input from the rest of the group. The leader possesses total authority and imposes their will on the group. The leader is the most knowledgeable and can be viewed as controlling and bossy. The democratic leader offers guidance to group members, but also participates in the group and allows input from others. Group members are encouraged to participate, but the leader still retains final say over decisions. Members feel engaged and are more motivated and creative, and group contributions tend to be of a higher quality. This leadership style boosts morale because group members contribute to the decision-making process. The laissez-faire leader offers no guidance to the group members and leaves decision-making up to them, which often leads to poorly defined roles and lack of motivation. This leadership style hinders the production of group members who need supervision. Group members tend to make more demands, show less cooperation, and are unable to work independently. So, with the characteristics of each leadership style identified, take a few minutes to think about the following questions. The instructor should prepare to pause the video. Overall, which leadership style do you think is most effective? Which characteristics across the 3 styles do you think are beneficial, and under what circumstances? The instructor may now pause the video, allow participants some time to consider the questions, and then facilitate the discussion. Hi again. I hope you gained some insight from your questionnaire results and discussion. By identifying your leadership style, you are better able to pinpoint your strengths, as well as areas for improvement. And remember, we can always work on improving ourselves. When we are looking to make improvements, it's often helpful to have a tool and some sort of guide to help us through the process. In terms of improving leadership skills, tools such as a SOAR plan can be very useful. SOAR is a leadership development plan which allows you to identify an area for improvement, develop an action plan for making that improvement, and identify the resources available to assist you on your journey. SOAR is an acronym for skill, what do you want to improve, objective, why do you want to improve, action, how will you improve, and resources, who or what can help you meet your objective. At this time, the instructor should prepare to pause the video for an activity. In just a moment, you will have an opportunity to develop your own personal SOAR plan based on what you learned from the Leadership Styles questionnaire. Remember to be honest with yourself about areas in which you can improve. In the participant workbook, you will find a SOAR planning worksheet. Once the video is paused, take 10 minutes or so to develop a personal SOAR plan for improving a leadership skill of your choice. The instructor may now pause the video and facilitate the activity. Press play when you're ready to proceed with the lesson. Welcome back, everyone. Now that you have developed your SOAR plans, take some time to consider the following questions. The instructor should prepare to pause the video. What skill do you want to improve? Why? What resources will help you? How will you achieve your objective? During your discussion, be sure to share any additional ideas or resources that could help colleagues reach their improvement goals. The instructor may now pause the video and facilitate the discussion. Press play when you're ready to proceed. Hello again. I hope your discussion provided some good ideas for enhancing your leadership skills. I want to challenge you to put your SOAR plan into action when you return to your workplace and observe how your improvements impact the people around you. The better leader you are, the better your team will be. And a great team equals exceptional service for your customers. At this time, I want to thank you for your participation today and encourage you to share your resources in the participant workbook with your team. Also, don't forget to check out the other videos available as part of the 2018 Summer Manager Workshop training videos. Thanks for watching, everyone.